of flood survivors on Kelantan during Tzu Chi's benefit concert in Penang, Malaysia. We learn how pig farming in Taiwan is causing serious pollution to the country's rivers. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen Liao. Thank you for joining us. Tzu Chi's concert in Malaysia to thank those who donated to help survivors recover from last December's flooding on the eastern shore made a stop in Penang. At this lake at the tour, Tzu Chi volunteers invited some flood survivors from Kelantan to share their stories with the audience. These special guests also had the chance to get to know Tzu Chi's missions better. And upon learning more about the charity organization, some of the survivors were inspired to do volunteer work back home.
Tzu Chi's concert tour to thank those who donated money to help survivors of last December's flooding in eastern Malaysian peninsula made its way to Penang. During the program, some of the flood survivors from Kelantan that Tzu Chi have formerly assisted were invited on stage to tell their stories.
I didn't know anything about Tzu Chi in the wake of the flood. I simply saw a bunch of people who reminded me of white doves, arriving early in the day and then boarding the bus to leave later in the evening.
These friends from Kelantan also got to know Tzu Chi better. Among them is Aziza, who took meticulous notes to share with her family back home.
I need to take notes to remember the things I learned. For instance, the master's name is Zhen Yan.
Through this trip, the visitors understood why Tzu Chi volunteers are so full of love.
Dapat belajar daripada Tzu Chi. Sikit sebanyak. Daripada dia dan saling batu-batu, tak kira bahasa, tak agama. Tak kira darjat lah.
Tzu Chi.
There are no distinctions here in Tzu Chi, no matter if they are high-level executives or not.
After getting to know Tzu Chi, these flood survivors know what to do next.
I plan to return to my home and start doing volunteer work, because now I'm also a part of Tzu Chi.
Participating in the cycle of love, Dharma Master Tzu Hui was moved to donate money his temple had received to Tzu Chi.
Natural disasters are unpredictable. By donating to the temple, residents are seeking a peace of mind, and by donating their alms to help disaster relief is good as well.
In the end, despite the differences in race and religion, love has brought this country and its people together.
In our next report, we meet Tzu Chi volunteer Chen Yaoqiang, who used to be a heavy drinker. Thankfully, after meeting Tzu Chi, Chen not only got rid of this bad habit, but also took on the responsibility of shouldering the Buddhist NGO's recycling mission. But first, we meet Tzu Chi volunteer Huang Yanqi of Malacca to see how watching the Wisdom at Dawn broadcast has inspired her to face life's challenges with a positive attitude.
I kept crying and said, "I beg you."
Following her father's passing a year ago, Tzu Chi volunteer Huang Yanqi and her sister began to take on the responsibility of caring for their mother who suffers from dementia.
Sometimes I get tired of taking care of her, especially when I want to give her a shower and she doesn't cooperate with me. There are times that I cry or get mad while giving her a bath.
Having no place to release her stress, Huang decided to turn to Buddhism and watch the Wisdom at Dawn broadcast for spiritual guidance.
Back then, I used to blame her about my situation and kept asking why I had to shoulder this responsibility. Slowly, however, I started to change and accept the reality of the situation.
To fulfill her filial duty, despite having to work full-time, Huang Yanqi still brings her mother home from the nursing home every night.
Before, I would ignore her or complain when she doesn't want me to give her a shower. Now, when I give her a shower, I will speak nicely and tell her that I want to give her a bath to make sure she is pretty and smells nice. I also tell her how much I love her.
我也是很爱你呀。好，来下麦。
Thanks to Dharma, Huang Shouyu has learned that taking care of her mother is not a burden but a responsibility that she can shoulder willingly.
I probably would still be drinking if I didn't practice recycling or become a certified volunteer. I used to drink from the bottle instead of using a cup.
To broaden his horizons, when Chen was 24 years old, he left his hometown in Malaysia to work in Cambodia. While overseas, Chen developed a habit of drinking.
I drank every day because I worked in a beer factory. I used to drink with my manager from 5 to 7 p.m. After dinner, I would drink with my colleagues at the dormitory. I drank all day long.
After returning to Malaysia, Chen Yaoqiang came across the Buddhist NGO while attending a blood drive. Later, Chen began practicing recycling on the organization's behalf.
I didn't quit drinking when I first started practicing recycling. Sometimes I didn't go to the recycling station because I was too drunk. I wasn't responsible for anything, so I felt it was okay for me to skip a day or two.
Things started to change when Chen was given a mission.
My group leader nominated me to become the person in charge of the recycling station. I finally discovered a sense of responsibility when Tzu Chi sisters brought their recyclables to me. I felt it was time for me to step up. I made a vow to carry out Tzu Chi's recycling mission at home.
The words from his counterparts have reminded Chen Yaoqiang to stop drinking.
Once I was drinking, a volunteer said to me, "Aren't you a Tzu Chi volunteer? How come you are drinking?" The volunteer's words struck me deeply. I quickly made a vow to quit drinking. I stopped drinking completely since that day.
In 2009, Chen Yaoqiang officially became a certified Tzu Chi volunteer. Furthermore, despite having no access to the elevator for 4 years, Chen's determination to carry on the NGO's recycling mission at home has never faltered.
Chen Yaoqiang didn't stop practicing recycling when the elevator was broken. He used to lower down the lighter recyclables from here. Chen's gestures inspired us to join his ranks.
Master Ziyan didn't have enough money and volunteers when she first started building the hospital, but she didn't give up. I have enough volunteers and a place to practice recycling, so why should I give up?
Our community is cleaner and has less garbage. After Chen started practicing recycling here, now everyone around here knows how to sort their recyclables correctly.
Chen Yaoqiang's selfless dedication in protecting the planet has also inspired his mother to follow suit.
I retired years ago and didn't have much to do. Now my son and I sort recyclables together. Practicing recycling is great because it is good for our health. I'm happy and free from worries.
Thanks to Chen's hard work, the organization's recycling mission has slowly flourished in his community. However, Chen's years of drinking has put his health at risk.
I suffer from heart problem because I drank too much when I was young. Now my heart beats really fast when I lift heavy items. I think it serves as a reminder that tells me to slow down and not to be so stressed.
Regardless of his health problems, Chen remains steadfast in his decision to practice recycling. This year, Chen Yaoqiang decided to become the person in charge of the recycling point located at the Tzu Chi Free Clinic Center in Kuala Lumpur as a way to shoulder even more responsibility. The construction of Jing Si Hall in Guangdong, China is in its final stage. During the weekend, many parents brought their children to help level the land and pave interlocking bricks. As the hall will be the spiritual home of Tzu Chi volunteers in Guangdong, volunteers took part in the landscape work with joy and excitement. Let's take a look.
Guangdong's Jing Si Hall is located in Dongguan City. After the groundbreaking last February, the construction is now in its final stage. Many volunteers brought their family here over the weekend to help with the hall's landscape work.
Playing computer games at home is not good for our health, so I decided to come out to help prepare the land and plant flowers.
Some volunteers pave interlocking bricks while others remove stones. Us volunteers took up different tasks. Some even use twigs as brooms.
现场的一些
There's some twigs here. When I was little, we often used twigs or Chinese silvergrass to make brooms. We would turn something useless into something useful.
Volunteer Wang Jie is touched to see the participation of the community volunteers. For more than a year, she took every opportunity to help out at the construction site and watched the building of Jing Si Hall.
大家能把这里护持好。
We should cherish this place and keep it clean and neat. If we have a good environment, people will come here and learn about Tzu Chi, and we can inspire others in this neighborhood.
Jing Si Hall will be the spiritual home and cultivation ground for Tzu Chi volunteers and the public.
既然是大家的家，
Since this will be our home, I must do the best I can, so people who cannot come help out can feel at ease.
In Nantou County, Taiwan, we bring you the story of kindergartner Huang Yanqi, who has been going meatless alongside his grandmother, a Tzu Chi volunteer, for 3 years. When Huang's mother was under postnatal care after giving birth to his sister, the boy got his mother to become a vegetarian by spreading the message of respect for all living things. Next, we meet Yanqi to see how he manages to stay healthy and energetic without consuming meat. Yanqi is very smart. He's not only interested in math and science, but has also memorized the scriptures very well.
日依山尽，黄河入海洋，一桥千里目，河上一座桥。谢谢燕琪，你要多起，你要堆起，这里是空一个。
Being a vegetarian, I eat a lot of vegetables, and I often eat 2 bowls of rice in a meal. If a person eats an animal, he or she will turn into the kind of animal in their next life.
菜种了以后要除草，还要浇水，你有浇水？
等你呀。
好，哎好，换那个，不要太多哦，好，换水颗。
Yanqi liked to come here to weed and plant vegetables when he was 1 or 2 years old. These vegetables were planted by him.
我们要找到虫虫。啊？
但是有一点会去救我。哎呀，那面变成这样了，偷蛋了。我太晚了。
After learning to walk, Yanqi hiked the Huang Yanqi trail with us when he was only 2 years old. He's a faster hiker than his mother and me. When his mother was under postnatal care after giving birth to his sister, he asked his mother, "Why do you want to eat fish? I feel sorry for the fish." Nobody asked him to spread the no-killing message to his mother. Eventually, he inspired his mother to adopt a vegetarian diet like us.
我觉得吃的好吃。
Pork is enjoyed by Taiwanese and is one of the basic food items almost eaten daily. However, the business of pig farming can have quite a detrimental impact on our environment, unlike those farms in developed countries, which are required to process their waste properly as mandated by law. Taiwan's pig farms typically discharge their wastewater full of fecal matter rot into rivers, which causes serious pollution to both water and air.
When we were young, wasn't there a popular nursery rhyme which described a creek in front of my home and to the back as a hill as an ideal home? But look at this river, it simply reeks. The wastewater full of fecal waste from pig farms, probably discharged into it untreated, which killed everything in it due to oxygen depletion. To have a good environment, we need oxygen.
The wastewater from washing pig pens is full of organic waste, high in nitrogen, phosphorus, and nutrients. It is typically discharged into rivers untreated, which creates foul odors and pollution.
Actually, the government has been enforcing the law very strictly. Pig farmers used to complain about it. They would be fined for causing water pollution, which I believe carried a fine of $2,000 and can be issued continuously. They would be fined for the foul smell as well, which is considered air pollution, and there's $3,000 in fines. This one can be issued every time someone files a complaint.
But with over 8,200 pig farms in Taiwan and limited number of inspectors stationed at each county, cracking down on violators is nearly impossible. Thus, the government has been planning to issue wastewater prevention tax as early as 1992.
Through giving businesses monetary incentives, we hope they will try to control the waste they produce. Also, the tax will be used specifically to treat bodies of water and improve water quality.
Learning from the example set by the Netherlands and Germany, the new tax hopes to tackle the problem of water pollution in Taiwan. The farming industry would be taxed the same as other industries, and the fee would be dependent on the types of waste they discharge.
If a farm can successfully reduce the waste it produces or lower the concentration of waste matter in its discharge, then this new tax would have served its intended purpose.
To deal with such matters, the Tzu brothers, who have run a large pig farm in Penang for decades with some 20,000 pigs, decided to invest in some $2 million in a methane power plant, which runs on the biogas collected from the manure.
If a farm is not big enough, it would not be viable for it to invest in this type of hardware, because the cost would simply be too high. However, by looking at the problem macroscopically, I believe this is the direction to go for Taiwan's animal farms.
After the new tax goes into effect in 3 years, the EPA predicts the cost to raising each pig would increase by about $1, while it would be some $70 for each cow. Pig farmers believe such measures would rid the country of small pig farms and deal the industry a fair blow.
While most people spend the weekend sightseeing or resting, Tzu Chi volunteers in Hangzhou, China, spend the weekends cleaning parks or visiting their Dharma family. They not only lessen the burden on Mother Earth, more importantly, they teach people about environmental protection. Let's take a look at how Tzu Chi volunteers in Hangzhou have seized the time to serve and care for one another.
In beautiful Hushan Park in Hangzhou City, there are dark corners. Seeing the beautiful park being trashed, Tzu Chi volunteers mobilized to help clean up its surroundings. Many even brought their children to help out.
I picked up a lot of trash from a hole there. I think tourists have thrown away too much trash there. We should bring our own chopsticks and not use disposable chopsticks. People throw away disposable chopsticks and we have to pick them up.
Volunteers have also planted the seeds of environmental consciousness in the minds of the children. While the children are excited to learn about environmental protection, the adults worry about the garbage problem.
For tourists and other visitors to have environmental awareness, I think is very important.
While picking up the garbage, we are very dedicated. When there is garbage, no matter how dirty it is, we pick it up without hesitation.
In total, 38 people clean up the park and hope that visitors can cherish and protect this beautiful park in the future. Besides cleaning the park, Tzu Chi volunteers also seize the time to gather and talk about Tzu Chi's work. Volunteers visited Hu Huixian's home and performed 2 sign language songs to thank the elderly volunteers for their services. Meanwhile, in the kitchen, Hu Huixian and her husband are busy preparing food for everyone. To welcome the volunteers, Hu Huixian specially made hand-cooked spring rolls.
Thank you for coming to my house and bringing me blessings and joy.
As the volunteers have joy in their hearts, in the big family of Tzu Chi, there's always laughter and gratitude.
In Taipei, Taiwan, Tzu Chi volunteers have long cared for Tzu Chi care recipient Mr. Lin and his family. Living in Taiwan for the past 30 years, Lin, who is originally from the Philippines, was hurt on the job 6 years ago. Since it was also during the time of the global financial crisis, it was even more difficult for Lin to find odd jobs to make ends meet after he recovered. Fortunately, through his son's school, Tzu Chi volunteers entered into his life. To this day, the friendship is still going strong, as through the years, the volunteers have helped out the family, not only financially, but emotionally as well.
Climbing narrow stairs up to the third-floor apartment, Tzu Chi volunteers are paying another visit to Mr. Lin and his family. This family met Tzu Chi in 2009 when the financial crisis hits Taiwan.
When my eldest son was in the 4th grade, the teacher called me and asked directly if we needed some help.
Back then, Tzu Chi started a program to help struggling students continue their education. At the time, Mr. Lin was having difficulty paying the tuition, so the school called the Taipei Tzu Chi chapter. Then the Taipei chapter asked us to come visit them to get to know their situation better.
Mr. Lin, who was originally from the Philippines, hurt his back in a work-related accident a couple of years ago. And with his wife's Chinese less than fluent, the family was having a tough time providing for their 3 children.
When the 3 children entered adolescence, they were conflicted not only at home, but at school as well. Thankfully, with the new Shoots tutoring program to help, the 3 were able to get through that time.
Tzu Chi 改阮生活较济。
Tzu Chi really has solved many of my family's problems, not just monetarily, but emotionally as well. Money I can earn by working, but to find someone with a compassionate heart is very difficult.
These monthly visits over the years have moved the family to fully embrace Tzu Chi in their lives. Seeing how much help Tzu Chi gave to the Philippines in the wake of Typhoon Haiyan, Mrs. Lin wrote a letter to express her gratitude.
It's not enough for always saying thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's a great pleasure to this foundation, always helping so many people, not only the people of Taiwan, but all over the world.
We go back to Taiwan at the end of the show, where Tzu Chi volunteers in Taoyuan revisited Mr. Zhang, who suffered some burn injury, to clean up his messy home. The volunteers hope their assistance to give Zhang and his family a cleaner place to call home. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.